Good evening, everybody. Once again, this is a UFC 146 post-fight recap with Stefan Thunderheart. And tonight, man, this card was excellent, and this was very different too, because especially on a pay-per-view event itself, it was full of heavyweight fights, action-packed heavyweight fights indeed. Excellent card overall, and excellent nights of great fights. So, in the event, let me get down to it, and here we go. Now, of course, this was all there was 3 fights that were on Facebook, but at the same time, I was able to read some of the results on Twitter when I was on my Twitter page. So, Mike Brown versus Daniel Pineda, and the winner is Mike Brown, unanimous decision. And so I heard that was a pretty good one in itself from the former WEC champ. So congratulations, Mike Brown. And Kyle Kingsbury versus Glover Teixeira, and the winner is Glover Teixeira via a submission. I mean, this guy, I heard, has been fighting for a long time. This is his first, and so congratulations on his UFC debut. And basically how he was able to do it was just like he threw some nice combinations to Kingsbury and was actually able to rock him and actually able to knock him down with some combinations of boxing punches with good techniques. And then he went and then he tries to hit him doing the ground and pound, but he was actually able to get a great position and actually trapped him with a side arm triangle from actually his left side. It was actually Kingsbury's left side he was able to do it, and he had no choice but to tap out. So congratulations, Teixeira, on your debut. And Jacob Volkmann versus Paul Sass, and the winner is Paul Sass via submission with a triangle armbar. Were y'all surprised on that? I didn't think so, neither am I. So, congratulations, Paul Sass. He's such an excellent triangle armbar submission specialist, so I'm not surprised on that one. So, moving on. Alright, Dan Hardy versus Duane Ludwig, and the winner is Dan Hardy via a knockout. I mean, this is, of course, the first time in a long time he actually had a win, since 2009, if I'm not mistaken. And the poor guy, I mean, you know, he was basically on his way out, and he had to pull. This was a must-win for Dan Hardy. And when it all came down to it, I mean, you know, it was a great fight. Ludwig really took it, tried to grapple with him and did some strikings and kicks and so forth, but Dan Hardy just kept coming back, with, you know, putting him against the fence, you know, striking with boxing and then things like that. But what he was actually able to do during the middle of the first round, he was actually able to hook punch him from his left hand and knocked him straight down. Duane just went down, and that's when Dan Hardy went and started pounding him with elbow strikes to the face, and that's when he finally got him. So he knocked him out with that. So congratulations, Dan Hardy, on your excellent victory there. And this next I'm sorry, guys. This is a funny fight right there. This next fight was Jason Mayhem Miller from Strikeforce. Well, he's been in UFC for a while, but not actually. He lost. Well, basically, he's had his first loss against what's his name? Oh, come on. Anyway, it's gonna come back to me in a bit. Well, he lost again. This time against Stipe Dollaway, and he via unanimous decision. I mean, let's just put it this way: Dollaway has definitely he's definitely had good striking skills, but he also mostly, though, it was grounding and pounding Jason Mayhem Miller through the first, second, and third round. And basically, it all boils down to it too. I guess he might have hurt his knee when he took him down in one of his takedowns, from what Joe Rogan may have said. But I don't think it would have mattered, because, you know, basically Jason Mayhem Miller was gassed out anyway. So CBA Dollaway had his way with him, definitely, to say the least. And so in that retrospect, poor Jason Mayhem Miller, I mean, the guy's a bit of a clown anyway. I mean, he matches his hair color. I guess it kind of matches his actions, but he's pretty much done with, I believe. So unanimous decision victory for CBA Dollaway. Congratulations. Let me see here. Any event, what's the guy's name? I'm trying to remember the guy's name that he fought, that he lost to. They had a rivalry over in one of the post-fight recaps. In that retrospect, oh, come on. I'm having a brain freeze right now. I can't even remember the guy's name. I remember he's from England. He's very brash. I should know who he is. I mean, the guy's, you know, very well, popular yet infamous at the same time. I guess it'll come back to me in a minute. Anyways, moving on. Edson Barboza versus Jamie Varner, the former UFC lightweight champion. Actually, not UFC, WEC lightweight champion. And the winner is Jamie Varner via knockout. I mean, this was his first time in a long time he's actually fought. So to go against a guy like Edson Barboza, who was in such a has such a fight winning streak, to go against a contender like that, and actually was able to come out on top with furious punches and hit him so hard that he actually finally knocked him down and was able to throw like nice hammer fists towards his face, towards the side of the head. And basically, what all boils down to it, he was the winner. So congratulations, Jamie Varner via knockout. And then I like the fact when he's pointing his finger and the camera says, "I'm back." Yeah, like that. That was excellent on his part. That was a cool thing. So, anyways, let's move on. And Diego Brandao versus Darren Elkins. And the winner is Darren Elkins, unanimous decision. And I mean, basically what all boils down to it, the Diego Brandao was doing really well in the very first round against Darren Elkins. But as the second round went on, Diego started gassing out. I mean, which was really strange because, being I guess getting into training from Craig Jackson, you don't really see a lot of these guys tire out very easily, especially. So he may have to go back to the drawing board to figure out why he gassed out after the first round, after being trained by Craig Jackson. But in any event, basically Darren Elkins just used his to advantage and grounded him and pounded him and things like that, and outstrucking him with standing. But it didn't really, like I said, Diego Brandao really got worked, really, really bad. And so when it all boils down to it, Elkins got the victory. So congratulations on that. And now this was when the heavyweight fight started happening, when the pay-per-view started happening. So, of course, the very first heavyweight bout was Stefan Struve versus Lavar Johnson. And the winner is Stefan Struve via a submission with an armbar in 39 seconds. That's how long it lasted, folks. And a lot of people were all saying, Lavar Johnson was going to get him and all this other stuff. I knew better than that. I knew that Stefan Struve was going to come out on top somewhere, somehow. Because the man, let me put it like this. The skyscraper has something that most heavyweights don't have. And what it is? Well, leverage, leverage, leverage. Exactly. He's got the leverage advantage. He's so freaking tall, for crying out loud. He's got those long legs. He's got those long arms. I mean, the bottom line is, the guy, he just needs to just really develop further and really know how to use his leverage advantage to a certain degree. I mean, the fact that he knows he's learning how to use his leverage, this is the result of what happened. I mean, he just got tied up against the fence. He just dropped himself down, brought Lavar Johnson with him, got him in a guard. Then simply they just went and turned him, trapped his arm. Lavar had no chance but to tap out, just like that. So, congratulations, Stefan Struve. And I'm telling you right now, and I've told you this before, and I've told this to a lot of people, even some friends of mine, and people were like, "Oh my goodness!" And they're taking me a little more seriously now than they did before. And as long as he keeps winning fights and not screw around like he did with Travis Brown and lose in that fashion, I'm gonna put it like this: as long as he keeps winning and starts winning and against top contenders, you're looking at a future heavyweight champion in the world. Just take my word on it. You'll see it one day. I know you will, and I know I will too. Let's move on. So the next heavyweight bout is Stipe Miocic versus Shane Del Rosario from Strikeforce. They were both undefeated, so one of them lost. Basically, one of them is no longer undefeated, and of course the winner, and he's still undefeated, Stipe Miocic via a TKO. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the first round was basically not exactly all Shane Del Rosario. Sorry, get a little tongue twisted here. And Del Rosario just stopped him with so many kicks to his ribs and so forth. But Stipe Miocic's boxing was better with his hands. And when it all boiled down to it, when the second round came, it was the same thing. The only difference was Miocic was able to take Rosario down and just grinding and pounding him, and to such a point that he started he wore him out and started doing all kinds of elbows and punches and hammer fists to a point where the referee had to stop the fight, and Shane Rosario wasn't responding properly and intelligently, so he had to give the TKO victory to Miocic. So congratulations, Miocic, on that. And this next bout was definitely was the one that people really like to see, was Roy Big Country Nelson versus Dave Herman. And the winner is Roy Nelson via a knockout in 51 seconds. That's all it took, basically. 51 seconds. Now, a lot of people were thinking Herman was going to come out and do his thing. Well, he kind of did in a sense, but he didn't do very much. I mean, yeah, he may have kicked him, backed him up with his front kick and so forth, and try to, throw some good punches and everything. But, man, Roy Nelson just waited. He had this good timing about him. He just went and actually threw a nice overhand right to his face. Or he actually threw his face so hard that I even felt a headache a little bit when I saw that hit. I mean, it even hurt me a little bit, since I'm sometimes to get a little bit sensitive and I get myself too open so much. In that way, I had to wait. So, whoa, wait a minute. Settle yourself. You'll be back. You'll be all right. And I did, and I was fine. So, but it hurt me just looking at the way he hit him. And man, the Dave Herman went down in the heat. He didn't even go down his back. If anything, he looked like he was just falling asleep on his knees when he went down. I mean, and then of course, Roy Nelson went and tried to hit him, and that's when the referee told him to stop. And so, be a knockout of 51 seconds. I mean, I'm not surprised. Many people were surprised that they told me about. I wasn't. So congratulations, Big Country. That was his first victory since he had a victory against Mirko Krokop. So that's basically that. And so now he's back. Now let's see if he can keep it going, keep his winning ways going. Since he's had his losses with Frank Mir, Junior Dos Santos, and Fabricio Verdum. But of course, in between that, he had a win against Mirko Krokop. So he needs to get himself back on the winning track some more. And this, I believe, is a great start for that. So, in any event, let's move forward. And in the co-main event of the evening, Cain Velasquez, former UFC Heavyweight Champion, versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva from Strikeforce. Now, this particular person, Antonio, he's a big man, but he's also good. He's beaten a lot of contenders. Especially, he's given the second loss in a long time to Fedor Emelianenko, and beat him down pretty bad in the Grand Prix tournament about a year or two ago, if I'm not mistaken. And so, in that retrospect, this was supposed to be a good fight to see who would be the number one contender. At least that's what I believe it is anyway. I mean, let's see what happens with that. It should be. I mean, but let me tell you though, Cain Velasquez came out victorious with a TKO victory, and this happened when, of course, Cain Velasquez just dominated Bigfoot. I mean, he just took him to the ground, started just pounding him, and even cut him up with elbow strikes, and he was he was bleeding all over the place. The whole floor of the UFC octagon was a mess, a bloody mess. And Cain just kept pounding him, and he had to win tonight. Cain knew he had to go. He felt he needed to make a point, and man, did he make a point. Bigfoot didn't look like he even had a chance. People would have thought he probably did, but I also knew better because I felt, even though his head is so big and he's so huge and everything, he's intimidating looking, but I thought to myself, the bigger the head, the bigger the target. That's how I thought. And I'm sure that's probably what Cain Velasquez was thinking too, and man, he just messed up his head so bad, so much blood all over the place. Congratulations, Cain Velasquez, on an excellent TKO victory. It was definitely he made a statement tonight, and I know now he's ready. He needs a rematch now against Dos Santos. Let's see how the fight's really going to be when they have a rematch again sometime in the future. So, and speaking of Junior Dos Santos, the UFC Heavyweight Championship match between Junior Dos Santos versus Frank Mir, and the winner, and still the UFC Heavyweight Champion of the world, Junior Dos Santos. How? Of course, via a knockout against Frank Mir. And it happened in the second round. When Frank Mir, of course, started it, he tried to take him down early and fast, and even tried to hook his legs and everything. But the fact that Junior Santos quickly got out of it, I knew that Frank Mir was in trouble, because Frank Mir is a great striker and everything, but not against, and I mean not against Junior Dos Santos, an excellent boxer that he is. And even though Frank Mir tries to outstruck him, you know, with using a little bit of kickboxing, he should have used more kickboxing rather than try to stand there with him. That was a big mistake. And then on top of that, got so tired trying to take him down, he wasn't taking him down properly anyway. And Junior Dos Santos just kept on striking him to his stomach with like, you know, jabs to the ribs, hit him in the face and things like that, to a point where Frank Mir was getting knocked down too many times. He couldn't. He got too disoriented, and even got to a point in the second round where he threw a nice straight punch, hit Frank Mir, went down, and then Frank Mir. And then what he was trying to do is he was trying to ground and pound him, but he was afraid that he might get grappled, get snatched or something. So of course Junior stood back. Frank Mir couldn't even get up. He just twirled over, and he went in and gave him a nice hammer fist to the face, and boom, it was over. And so Herbie stopped the fight and awarded Junior Dos Santos as still the UFC Heavyweight Champion, and got his revenge for his mentor, Monitor Nogueira, who Frank Mir fought in his last fight and broke his arm and to submit him. So this was actually a revenge. Not only, of course, this was, of course, to defend his title, but he also got revenge against the man who broke his mentor's arm. So now, what's the future for Frank Mir? I don't know. Either go back to the drawing board, or maybe start thinking about retiring. Who knows? We'll see how Frank Mir deals with things. But as far as Junior Dos Santos, man, he's on a roll, man. He is there. He's here. He's the baddest man on the planet. And as far as Cain Velasquez, they need to give him another title shot. I mean, he deserves it. His performance was excellent tonight against Bigfoot. And man, you know, this was great. This was totally great. And it was a great event overall, definitely. And so, like I said, definitely a great event overall. And let's see. Like I said, the night of heavyweight fights was excellent. I mean, great finishes, great card overall. And like I said, now that Junior Dos Santos is still a champ, this heavyweight division has gotten even more exciting. And with Stefan Struve, you know, moving up and various things like that, I just can't wait to see more heavyweight fights in the UFC and in Strikeforce for that matter, but mostly in the UFC for that matter. Well, in the event, I'm gonna get going. I'm going to definitely get this thing going. And as far as everyone, just this is a 3-day weekend in America, so so I'm actually just want to pay respect for all the veterans of the men and women who have served in the armed forces. I'd like to say thank you for your dedication and basically serving the country and the greater good of the world overall. So, anyways, this is Vladimir Thunderheart. I will get going, so talk to you later. Healing, it is all that is. Of course. How could I have forgotten? Michael Bisping was the guy who beat up Jason Miller. Well, how could I have forgotten about him? I guess he's that much of a jerk ass to begin with. Sometimes jerks like that are easy to forget at times. Oh well. Take care, everybody. Have a Memorial Day.